What's up guys, Manny from Motomillion, and let's visit an old friend, the K67 S1000RR. For the purposes of this video, we're going to use this code name, the K67 S1000RR, and this is the S1000RR that was released at EICMA in November of 2018, which the rest of the world got to know it as the 2019 S1000RR, where in the United States, it came out as the 2020 S1000RR early in 2019. We call it an old friend because Motomillion started off with a 2015 S1000RR, and it's a motorcycle that's very dear to us. When the K67 S1000RR was released, it caused quite the stir because the symmetrical headlights were no longer available. It got a new symmetrical look, and this was in part because of the LED headlights that's available, that BMW did not need to have a big and a small headlight so that it could save more weight. Other than the symmetrical headlights, it received a brand new frame that improved ergonomics, and this frame was called the Flex frame, which had higher flexibility, which improved the rideability of this motorcycle. Alongside the frame, it got a brand new swing arm that improved stability of this motorcycle, and it reduced the total weight. Speaking of the weight, the K67 S1000RR weighed 25 pounds less than its predecessor, weighing in at 434 pounds wet, which till today's standards is pretty lightweight for a superbike. It was the first BMW motorcycle that was a road-going model to feature carbon fiber wheels, which was welcomed by many of its fans and enthusiasts. The electronics of the K67 S1000RR got a lot of upgrades, and the most noticeable one being the 6.5-inch TFT display, till today is the standard in the superbike world. It included beautiful graphics and turn-by-turn navigation, which makes this motorcycle one of the most usable motorcycles available today in terms of a superbike. Aside from the headlights, the K67 was a totally redesigned S1000RR, which it got a totally new sleek look that we came to love even today. As it's a new platform, it was plagued with a couple of recalls and some stop sales. The first recall for it was the oil cooler recall. That was followed up by the bearings for the crankshaft. Then it was the recall that was the leaky haze calipers, which then got replaced in the motorcycle's life cycle into the Nissan brakes that we have today. The recalls made it frustrating to try to own one of these motorcycles because of the stop sales that was put into place, which lasted 3 to 6 months depending on your location. Aside from the recalls, which happens to all new platforms, the K67 S1000RR was welcomed by all the enthusiasts and even was accepted by all the S1000RR fans that was critiquing its new look in terms of the headlight design. And this is in part because if you look at the 2019 S1000RR and the newly redesigned 2015 S1000RR, the K67 model set the benchmark of its day, which is still relevant today. Now that we mentioned some of the early history of this motorcycle, let's talk about some of the aftermarket parts that was welcomed by all of the enthusiasts of these motorcycles. And the most notable being the Akrapovic Shorty GP exhaust was now available from Akrapovic as a full exhaust system, whereas in the previous model years, it had to be pieced together from various Akrapovic parts. The other popular upgrade for the K67 S1000RR ended up being the Brembo upgrade, since the K67 did not feature the Brembo brakes that the previous generations had. Fast forwarding to 2023, the K67 S1000RR got some updates, the most notable being the new Aerodynamic Look, where it got the winglets from the factory, and the frame also got some upgrades where it was more flexible and lighter in the rear section. There were further geometry upgrades made to the 2023, where the steering head angle was changed and the wheelbase was to aid to the stability of this motorcycle. The electronics got some updates, which included better graphics for the display and better usability of all the electronic functions that these bikes have. It is hard to imagine, as we're filming this video, the K67 S1000RR is almost 6 years old, but we really think that it still sets the benchmark for the superbike world. This is partly because the best-in-class TFT display that it has, and all the creature comforts that it offers, like cruise control, heated grips, and all the other electronic functions like its suspension and the turn-by-turn navigation, which till today no other superbike offers. With the introduction of the 2025 Panigale V4, we're going to have to wait and see if there's going to be any new S1000RRs that gets released. But as of today, there are no spy shots nor any leaked information from BMW of a new S1000RR to be released. But if you take a look back, when the Panigale V4 was released in 2018, BMW responded right away in a year span, which means that we could probably expect a new S1000RR for 2026. And you could expect me to take you for a ride on an upcoming video on this beautiful 2020 S1000RR, where I'll go through all of the details why this motorcycle is still as relevant today and why we believe it's still a superb motorcycle. For the purposes of this video, we only talked about the K67 S1000RR. We left out the M1000RR and the single R variants because the K67 S1000RR is the superbike for the masses and also is the most popular sport bike in BMW's lineup. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Until next time, guys, have a good one.